And we are live. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Strategy Show. I am Josh Engleman. It is Tuesday, September 17th, and we are here to break down a really nice MLB slate on a day where we don't have any NFL to speak of. So this is MLB only. We could all just focus on what we have to do today, which is break down some baseball. Plugging in my phone right now. That way it can charge while I'm on the show. Hit the like button if you're here. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. And follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. What's going on, everybody? Good to have everyone here. We got a lot to break down. Lots to talk about. What do we have? 11 games today? Is that right? 10 games today. And a decent early slate if that's your cup of tea. But we have a lot to break down. We have the Diamondbacks once again in Coors with a run total 2 runs bigger than anybody else on the slate other than the Rockies. I've got the Diamondbacks at 6.9, the Rockies at 5.6, and then the Cubs at 4.9. 2 full runs for the Diamondbacks. Bug Boy hit the super chat, said, because I know ball. Bug Boy does not know ball, but I appreciate the super chat nonetheless. Any rant from last night, Monday Night Football? No, I didn't care. I probably watched like a quarter of the game. I didn't play it. I really don't care about the NFL. Kevin Ekla did a 4-4 White Sox Royals stack, took second in the single entry. Thanks, Josh. Nice. Love to see that. Kevin Ekla, by the way, I put out on my free picks using Tails on OddsShopper. I put out a couple prize picks cards already. So if you want to go over to OddsShopper and go to the free plays in Tails, you can get my prize picks cards right away. I know you're going to be looking for it. Arizona stack didn't work out for Jason Gordon. So I'm going to be honest with you guys because I didn't play MLB last night. But I take it that we talked about the White Sox and it went well. Oh, they had 8 runs. Nice. Didn't know. 2 home runs from Benintendi, 1 from Vaughn, 1 from Sosa. I remember not putting Benintendi in the stack, so that's kind of frustrating. DJ, glad you're here. Everything's good, man. Nate says, still in absolute shambles with the Saquon drop. 62x down to 3x. You know who else is mourning that Saquon drop? That would be one Dave Loughran, who was also set to ship for 30-something grand until Saquon dropped that ball. I got that text from Laffy this morning. He was not a happy camper for it. So, Nate, if you're going to watch I assume there's an NFL show after this. Actually, I might be wrong. There might not be an NFL show after this. No, there is. There's got to be. Yeah, NFL strategy, Laffy and Ben. You'll probably get a little bit of... Okay, Eric, you were probably up there with Laffy then, because I got the text from him this morning. Because he knows I'm awake. The text came at 6:25 a.m. Was winning 37K last night in Showdown. 3rd and 3. Eagles get a first down. It's over. I have Hurts captain, Barkley flex. Floats at the Barkley for what would have been an easy first down. Perfect pass. Drops it. I end up winning $50. So make sure you guys go ahead and talk to Laffy on the NFL show after this. But for now, let's break down some baseball, shall we? I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. My sim is almost done. And let's go to the Diamondbacks because that's the first team we need to talk about. Look, there's not a lot to say here. 24.5% odds of being the top stack from Stochastic. I have it at 26.5. You want to call it 25? I think that would be safe. And that is the number 1 top stack team by 2.5x. Like, I have the Rockies second, so do we. at about 9. So it's 25% to 9 just for the Rockies. And then I probably have the Cubs third if I had to get. Actually, no, I don't. I have the Phillies third. I have the Phillies third at 8%. We're literally talking about a 3x more likely team for Arizona. Whether that's Corbin Carroll in the leadoff spot, just being probably the best play on today's slate, Marte, Jock, Christian Walker. You get Pavin Smith at 3,600, so you can keep some of that value. Gabriel Moreno at 3,600, keep some value. I mean, what do you guys think about Arizona today? I mean, they're clearly the top team. I expect to try to fill out with them a lot. Other than, I really want to try building one with Moreno in a bit on our single lineup sim. Or sorry, building one without Moreno a bit. Because I think that'll be a really nice place to change out some ownership. But it's hard to not want to go to Arizona. I mean, everybody on the team except for Perdomo looks good. And the only reason that Perdomo doesn't look better is because he's 4,500 and likely in the 9 hole. But Corbin Carroll's the best play on today's slate, I think. Steven, let's hope so. At the very least, I'm going to be neutral to the field. They're around 16% owned. They're the highest owned team. I'm going to be in that neighborhood for sure. And I'm definitely going to have some of the Rockies. Now, they're second in top stack for me and for Stochastic. They're right at like 4.8% top value, which is probably middle of the pack. They're second in ownership, but it's only Tovar and Hunter Goodman getting north of 10%. You've got someone like Toglia as one of the more under-owned first basemen. You've got Brenton Doyle, who's one of the more under-owned outfielders. I mean, if I look at that right now, of everybody on today's slate, Corbin Carroll is the runaway number one play. Whether you're including salary or not, Corbin Carroll is the best guy on the slate. And I think he's underowned. But I think Marte's underowned. I think Jock's underowned. I think Bobby Witt is underowned. Different game, obviously, but something to pay attention to. But you kind of got to get to Arizona and Colorado. So are Canning and Martin picking up some ownership? Canning for sure. Martin, not so much. But Canning's in and around 15. So, and Canning is going to look really popular when trying to go to the Diamondbacks and the Rockies. But I don't think this is the game that we really want to talk about. I don't think that anybody's all that surprised by what we have there. I have my sim done right now. So I'm going to run that, I'm going to grab that data and let's find out what am I getting to. Now, as I look at it, I am expecting to get to the Phillies, who I have 8% top stack, 4% owned, and they're showing a little bit of ownership against them. I think I'm going to get to the White Sox again. 16% ownership coming into Canning. I'm expecting to be able to get to the White Sox. I'd be surprised if I get the Mariners. I'd be surprised if I get the Tigers and the Brewers or the Nats. Those are the teams pulling real ownership against pitchers, but we're about to find out because I'm going to do it right now. So sim is done. Top 50 lineups. And I am playing tonight. Wife has book club and we are hosting at our house. So I'm going to be at my computer loading lineups pretty heavily today. Pop into our Discord tonight. If you subscribe to Stochastic, I'm going to head into the Discord for Live Before Lock and be there to hang out. So come join me. And then you'll have what I assume is Greg and Eric, but I don't know that for sure. Let me check. Greg and Eric, Live Before Lock tonight at 6 p.m. Don't miss that. All right. Lineups are in. Okay, that's not at all what I was expecting. Big Mets stand, big Royals stand. Now, the Royals one I'm not going to be surprised by, and I'll show you that in a second. A little bit over on the Rockies, a little bit a lot of it under on the Diamondbacks, a little bit over on the White Sox, neutral to the Angels. But this appears to be Mets and Royals. Now, for the Royals, I'm not all that surprised. I have them as my number one leverage stack at the top. I have them as my third overall team. They're fourth in ownership. I kind of like it. Steven, there's certainly a group. I'm sure you can guess how you end up on that. Well, let's look at my number one team, which is the Kansas City Royals at home, taking on Casey Mize and the Tigers. Now, I did get to Reagan's, neutral to the field. He's 25% owned. I have 22%. I will put it out there right now. I did bet his under in strikeouts. I basically bet that every day. So I just want to put that out there. Reagan's just doesn't get strikeouts against both hands in the same way, so the lineup will matter a lot. If there's four lefties out there, this is not as good of a spot for Cole Reagan's. But for the Royals bats, I have them fourth. Stochastic has them fourth. Now, I have them as a better value than Stochastic, and I tend to agree with me on this one because the only guy that's expensive is Bobby Witt, and Bobby Witt deserves a $6,500 price tag. I'm also 3xing the field on Witt. But the next most expensive guy is Sal Perez with catcher eligibility at $4,600. Not a problem. Casey Mize, not somebody that you're super worried about. The only guy north of 7% ownership on the Royals is Bobby Witt. But I have 30% of Pham, Witt, almost there for Perez. 15 to 20 on Massey, Renfroe, and Melendez. The first six guys here in the Kansas City lineup look great. I'm very happy for this stand. Do I love the park? No, not really. I mean, it really does limit lefty power, but I think they're getting slept on a little bit here. Fifth in ownership, but only 6% in the aggregate, and I'm able to get Bobby Witt in a big way. I'm very happy with my stand on the Royals. I'm going to go ahead and recommend them as my number one stack that isn't in cores. The second team that I have, though, quite a bit, way over the field, is the New York Mets. They're taking on Mitchell Parker and the Nats. You get major righty power in New York. That's helpful. And you get the lefty in Mitchell Parker on the mound. Right now, the Mets are projecting 9 righties. So I think we'd be remiss to not look at Mitchell Parker's advanced stats. And if we do that, Parker on the season, 117 x ISO allowed to lefties over 540 pitches. That's really good, striking them out too. But there aren't any lefties in the lineup. All of that information just gets thrown into the garbage. His strikeout rate gets cut by 7% from 26 to 19. He gets 3% less swinging strikes and gives up 210 x ISO to righties this year. 210 x ISO to righties. Vientos, Alonso, Martinez, Taylor, Alvarez, even Marte and Bader. I think the Mets are the sneakiest team on today's slate, and it's not close. They're 11th in ownership, 5th in top stack, 12th in value. These guys are massively underowned, and they're really easy to stack. From the top of the order down, second, third, first, MPE, outfield, catcher. None of those guys are more expensive than $4,900. I'm expecting the Mets to be more owned. I think this is the team that I'm going to get to that is probably like 6% owned, but it's showing up lower. This is amazing. What more could you want? 111 park factor for righty power. 9 righties in the projected lineup against a lefty that gives up major power to righties. This is the best team that you can get to in a large field contest. I cannot wait to build out these lineups. They're easy to stack. You'll be able to fill them out with Diamondbacks or Rockies if you need more value. You could probably go to any pitching you want. You can bring Tyler McGill along for the ride. I'm not all that worried about the Nats. They've got a sub-4 implied total. McGill's 17% owned, but he's 7,700. So give me McGill and give me a 5-man Mets stack and feel great about it. I love the Mets and I love the Royals today. I couldn't be happier with that exposure. If we want to go take a peek at cores, which I think is fine, you can see, like, I've got a decent stand on the Rockies. 18% of Tovar, Doyle, Tovar, Doyle, McMahon, and Rogers. 12% of Toglia, 14% of Hunter Goodman. I'm over the field on the Rockies by a decent amount, 13% in the aggregate. That looks good. The Diamondback side, they're heavily chalk. I'm still neutral on Corbin Carroll, but knowing that I'm probably not getting a lot of Diamondback stacks, I love the idea of getting Carroll in these low-owned Mets stacks and low-owned Royal stacks. And then I'm still filling out with Marte, with Peterson, with Jake McCarthy, the best bats in their lineup. So I'm getting to every piece of Arizona that I want to get to, but I'm not going all the way up to that heavy ownership other than for Carroll. So that works. I wish I could enter this shit right now. I've got a little bit of a stand on the unowned Tigers, which is interesting. I didn't really think about that. Reagan's on the opposite side. It's not a big stand. I mean, we're talking about one of the worst teams on the slate, but Ibanez in double digits, 8% of Keith, Torkelson, Malloy, and Dingler. Just trying to buy a little bit of power. Any love for Eovaldi or Wheeler? Jason Gordon asks. Let's find out. Let's see what I have from a pitching standpoint. Because we haven't looked. We've only looked at hitting. But before we look at pitching, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter. Sign up for Stochastic. We're not going anywhere for baseball for the next month. We're going to have plenty of coverage all the way up until the playoffs. I'm here every day, Monday through Friday. So don't miss any of the baseball coverage. Sign up for the single game sim or any MLB package. Or if you're just an NFL guy, sign up for the NFL package. I mean, we're hitting you with sim tools and data for every slate, whether that's Thursday showdown, Sunday main slate, late night, Sunday night football, Monday night football. If you take a week of our NFL package, you're hitting a lot of slates, especially if you time it right. You sign up on a Thursday morning or something, and you could really hit a lot of stuff over the course of a week and get an idea of what you like. Now, pitching. Wow, I'm flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 pitchers with a real amount. 7 if you include Jordan Wicks being neutral, but 20 to 20, let's call it 30 to 35% on Luis Gil and Griffin Canning. They are my 2 top guys. I'm 2Xing the field. And then 25% basically of Wheeler, Reagans, McGill, and Montas. 10% of Jordan Wicks. So I'm not really getting to King and Eovaldi. I'm really just locking in to 6 guys. If you're paying up, it's Wheeler and Reagans. If you want that mid-tier, it's Gil, McGill, and Montas. And if you want to go all the way to the bottom, I think Griffin Canning is easily the dude you want. So heading back to that question of any love for Eovaldi and Wheeler. Wheeler, yes, dead neutral. Eovaldi, a little bit less so. Not that I have a problem with him. The problem is Luis Gil, who's probably the best overall option you can get to today. I guess we should look at it a little bit. Late game in Seattle, and we know what being in Seattle does. Your strikeouts are going up, your runs allowed are going down, your power allowed is going down. And it's not like Luis Gil is some scrub. I mean, we're talking about a guy that can get strikeouts on his own anyway. So at 8,800, given the location of this game, I think Luis Gil is the best guy that you can get to on the pitching side. Combination of upside and price. We already sort of looked at Griffin Canning, but flat 6. I don't know why I said flat 6K. He is 6K. Can go deep in games. There's certainly some strikeouts going up against the White Sox. Park doesn't help for power. There's definitely, there's not really that much power in the White Sox lineup anymore either. But at 6K against the White Sox, I don't know how you avoid it. He's way too easy to get to. He unlocks all of the, you're going to see Canning plus Coors stacks a lot. So deploying Canning will be interesting, but he's only 16% owned. That's not even all that problematic of a number. We're so flat in pitching. Only Wheeler and Reagans are north of 20. The next highest guy is 17 for McGill. So even the Griffin Canning ownership isn't all that tricky. What do you guys want me to look at next? Ken, good morning. You guys have any teams you want me to look at? Do you want me to touch on or dig into any specific pitchers? I want to find out what you guys want from me first. But then if we have nothing, I'm going to dive into the sim tool. What other teams? Angels, please. All right, Stochastic has the Angels third in top stack. I have it sixth, but we're basically both at 5%. And then in and around 12 to 13% top value, number two. They're fourth in ownership. The Martin, the play against Martin is totally fine. I mean, I have 6%. They're 7% owned. They look good. The Chenul Cavadas problem sucks. You know, you have two first basemen. You can only roster one of them. Going to be really hard to want to go to Chenul. Cavadas just has way more power and a cheaper price tag. I have no problem with the Angels. I'm very happy to be basically neutral to them. Let's see. Oakland from Podigen Stoner. I have a little. You're getting Jordan Wicks with some ownership on the opposite side, which I think helps. Righty power is going to be better for you, so that's going to be your Rookers, your Langoliers, Geloff, Cameron, Nevin. Not that I have a problem with Butler or Blade, but you are going lefty-lefty. Not a fun team to stack. Outfield, 1, 2, 3. I'm not surprised to be neutral on Oakland. Jorge says Rockies versus Montgomery. Yeah, I mean, the Rockies look great. I have 13%. They're my third most exposed team. They're getting, to me, a little underrepresented given what they have here. And they're really easy to stack. Short outfield, third, first, second catcher, 1 through 6. Fantastic there. What else? What do I have on Lynn? I forgot he was on the slate. I have 6% of Lynn, projected for around 15 fantasy points. Just kind of sandwiched in between two guys I like more, whether that's Frankie Montas at 7,400 or McGill at 77. Lynn becomes the unappealing meat in that sandwich. No, I can't take you through the FC debacle. Yankees and Cubs. Four-prong dinger. I have very little interest in Yankees bats. I don't like taking teams heading into Seattle. They're just a much better team defensively. Clearly, like Judge and Soto can homer anywhere they want. So can Stanton and Chisholm. I bet Jason Dominguez to homer. But no, I don't really like the idea of targeting the Yankees. As you can see, I don't have a single hitter in this game. Not one single share of Seattle. Not one single share of New York. I also do not have a single share of the Padres, the Astros, the Brewers, the Phillies, the Blue Jays, or the Nats. Who are my favorite pitchers? I'll tier them. Tier 1 is Luis Gil and Griffin Canning. Tier 2 is Wheeler, Reagans, McGill, and Montas. No particular order. Did I cover Pivetta? No, I didn't, Tyler. There's a reason I didn't, though. I didn't cover Pivetta because he's not on the slate. Damn, Humboldt. I had a stack with all White Sox 5-man, but no Vaughn, Benintendi, or Sosa. When you miss, you miss. Yeah, that's a miss, man. That sucks. Any one-off bats I like at third. That'll be an interesting talking point for when we get to building out some lineups, but I can pull it up here. So third base. This is everybody available at third. 4,800 or I mean, it's Mark Vientos. I think Mark Vientos is the best third baseman overall, and he's 5% owned. He's in 36% of my lineups. He is my number one guy. Whether you use salary or don't use salary, factoring in ownership, all of this stuff points to Mark Vientos. I think there's 5 third basemen that are worth anything. Vientos, McMahon, Arenado, Suarez, and Andy Ibanez. There's a very clear line drawn here. You see 1.8% implied odds drop off from Ibanez to Paredes. That's a pretty clear cut right here. So if you're looking for 4,800 4,800 or less, it's Vientos, Arenado, and Andy Ibanez. But now we're 25 minutes in. We got the NFL show coming up at 10. But for now, it's time to build some lineups. The czar of the single game lineup sim is here to show all of you how incredibly intelligent I am. So let's build out some lineups. And let's find out what the best things are that we can get to today. All right. So I want to build out the Royals and the Mets first. I'm starting with the Mets, even though I have more of the Royals. But I want to start with the Mets. Pitching, I'm doing last. Because we have so many options up and down the salary tier, I'm going to put the stack in first and then figure out pitching. So if we want to start with the Mets, I'm immediately going to all the guys that I think have to be in the lineup. That's going to be Mark Vientos. That's going to be Jose Iglesias, Pete Alonso, JD Martinez, and then I need one more. That's going to be Francisco Alvarez. 5-man Mets stack in. Most expensive guy in that stack is $4,900 Alonso. So for pitching, since I have the Mets, I'm going to keep McGill. And then let's see if we could actually upgrade a pitcher as we go. So if I just look at any pitchers, the best value pitcher is Griffin Canning. I'm going to start there. That leaves us $4,800 for a shortstop and 2 outfielders. That's a lot. So if I look at Witt, can I do this with Kansas City? Witt, Pham, Renfroe leaves us 900. 75 aggregate ownership, 95 projection. Let's see what that ends up looking like. This will be decent, but we can spend a lot more salary. Okay, yeah, 15%. So we can take on a lot more ownership here, which means let's look at shortstop. Let's look at Tovar. Brenton Doyle. And Jordan Beck. Because now we're increasing the ownership. We're still up to 96.5. I think this is still going to be a little too low. We need to buy some projections somewhere. Doesn't appear to be this set of Colorado. So I'm going to pull Canning and see if we can grab a little bit more fantasy points at pitcher. So I'm going to pull Canning. I'm going to go all the way up to Reagans. Now, at short, the best value is Nicky Lopez. Mason Wynn looks really good here, as does Zach Neto. I'm going to try Wynn. Jordan Walker. And that's where it sort of dies. Brendan Donovan, 98.4. We're going to be climbing here. We really need to try to get that projection in and around 100. Yeah, we're still at 11. Okay. Maybe the Mets aren't as clean as I thought, or maybe I need to move somebody around here. What I'm going to do is pull Jose Iglesias and grab another Mets outfield bat, which could be, let's go Tyrone Taylor. Now it's second base, shortstop, outfield for Reagans and McGill. So who's the second baseman we can get to? I mean, Marte is interesting, but that's going to be too much salary. Can I go Colorado now for Brendan Rodgers, Tovar, and then you got to... Now we can get down off of Reagan's. Who's the next best Colorado outfielder? Brendan Rodgers, Tovar, and Doyle. Gives us 6,500 at pitcher. That gives us Canning. 96.62. Lower than I was expecting. Damn. 20s, probably. Oh, okay. Now we're starting to unlock some things. What if we turn Colorado into Arizona? Can we pull that off? Can we get Marte, Perdomo, and Pavin Smith? We're now sitting in the 40s. Keith, yeah, I like that. The turbo slate is really good. I wish it were better. Like, I wish it was just like a June turbo slate and they really took, like, kind of went for it. All right. This is where we're sitting. Maybe the Mets aren't the path to the unlockable awesomeness, which means now we're going to Kansas City. This is my number one overall stack for today. I have no team more than Kansas City. So, right out of the gate, we got to grab all the best plays here. That's going to be Tommy Pham, Bobby Witt, Sal Perez. And I'm going to put Sal Perez in at first. I'll put Freddie Vermin in at catcher. And then I'm going to take Michael Massey at second. Third, outfield. We've spent a decent chunk of salary, so we're going to look for a little bit of value here. Where do we want to go for value? White Sox, Cardinals, Angels. Let's go to the Angels. Maybe. No, let's not go to the Angels. Not the third baseman I'm looking for. So if we're looking for value, White Sox is probably not the path we want to take. We already have the Royals. I mean, can we just go to Arizona? Can we get Eugenio Suarez, Jock Peterson, and Jake McCarthy? Ooh, Jock Peterson and Pavin Smith. Leaves us 3,600 at pitcher. If I take Reagan's, I can't take anybody. So if we take Canning, the next best guy that we can take is Frankie Montas. 97, 43, and 102. This will be okay. This will be okay. $30s, I'm guessing. 14, really? All right, maybe it's not Arizona. Maybe it's Colorado then as the filler. Colorado third baseman. So we go Ryan McMahon, Brenton Doyle, Hunter Goodman. We'll go Jordan Beck. This doesn't really help me. Does it unlock a different pitcher? Ooh, it unlocks McGill. That extra $300 unlocked McGill. 96 and 89. This is going to be in the 40s. We're so close to unlocking a better projection here. Does kind of make me wonder if I can go 5-2-1. 5-man Colorado, 3-man KC, Jorge. I like it. We're having trouble unlocking the true play here. If I take Fermin out, who's the best catcher I can get to? It's still Fermin. Okay. If I take Massey out, who's the best second baseman I can get to? Taking out Massey unlocks Brendan Rodgers. Now we have a 4-4. That is an upgrade. 30s? Yeah, 27. All right. Royals and Rockies not looking as good as I thought they would. Jorge, let's try it. Let's go Colorado 5-man. Let's go to Coors and see what we can build and see how much we can cut out ownership after the fact. So right out of the gate, we're going Tovar. We're going to Brenton Doyle. We're going to Ryan McMahon. And then I'm going Toglia, Brendan Rodgers. I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Catcher, outfield, outfield. Pitcher probably needs to be Canning plus something. So who's the best catcher we can get to value-wise that actually has a real projection? Highest projection at catcher is Gabriel Moreno at 8. He is the best, second best value. Hunter Goodman is the best value. Then it's Corey Lee. It looks like Logan O'Hoppe is going to be the guy. So if we go O'Hoppe, can we get Angels? And Jorge, I know you said Kansas City. So I guess let's look at Kansas City first. But I think we're going to have to go a different direction. But if we go Kansas City, let's start with Perez, which is probably going to end up a little bit more expensive than we want it to be. But we can go Perez, Melendez, Renfroe. Leaves us 8,500 at pitcher, which would be, in this case, McGill. We still have 800 left over. So we might be able to even make an upgrade here. Well, we should make an upgrade somewhere. What's the best outfielder I can get that isn't on Kansas City? It's Pavin Smith. I'm going to test this first. 98 and 101. -4. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. All right, I'm pulling Kansas City there, Jorge. I'm pulling Kansas City. And I'm going O'Hoppe, Taylor Ward, Mickey Moniak. Apparently, the Czar is having a tough Tuesday. Yeah, neither was I, Jorge. Okay, there we go. Up to 45%. And honestly, we might even be able to unlock a little bit more of that by getting off of McGill. Can I upgrade here by any chance? Probably not. And we have a lot of time to do more of these. Only 9:40. We have at least 10, 15 more minutes. All right, I'm going back to the drawing board. I'm clearing everything. So I want to think about a team that we haven't really got to. I'm going to go to my team from yesterday. I mentioned it in my tweet when we went live. What can I build with the Chicago White Sox, a team that I am over the field on, and we are getting ownership to Griffin Canning. So we're not going to get Canning here. We're going to go up against the Canning ownership and build out our number one White Sox stack. That is going to be Lubob, obviously. That's going to be Andrew Vaughn over Gavin Sheets. Got to get Benintendi. So that's 2 outfielders. I don't want to go to another outfielder if I don't have to. Moncada is really not good. So Nicky Lopez, I mean, probably short makes the most sense. Although, if I'm going to be saving so much salary, that might end up being a Bobby Witt spot. So let's go second base for Nicky Lopez. That's 4. You know what? Maybe we'll start at 4-4. We'll start at 4-4. So since we're not going to Griffin Canning, I'm going to try Luis Heel, who's my number 1 guy, and I'm going to try Tyler McGill. Now we need a 4-man stack, catcher, third, short, outfield. And we can kind of do whatever we want here. So let's see if taking ownership works. Arizona, Gabriel Moreno. Arizona, Eugenio Suarez. Arizona, Perdomo. And then Corbin Carroll. 101.65, 123.4. I don't have a great feel. It's the best projection we've built, and it's not close. Is the ownership too high is the questions. 42.5. Okay. What if I go to the Royals here? Because that'll get me Witt. And it's basically the Corbin Carroll play at half the ownership. Am I stupid, or are there no third baseman on Kansas City? All right. It appears that that is the case. So if I pop Moncada in and Salvador Perez, I can get Tommy Pham. 97.52, but we're down under 100 in ownership. 5-man White Sox. If I can turn one of those White Sox into a Royal, I think that's going to be a benefit. It might be Nicky Lopez that needs to change. Yeah, 45.5. What can I turn Nicky Lopez into? Nothing on Kansas City? Is that real? Yeah, so that's got to stay at Nicky Lopez. Moncada can't be anybody. I want to upgrade this so bad. I just don't know where the upgrade is. Could it be Andrew Vaughn? Nope. Can I turn Benintendi into something? Nope. Who's the upgrade here? There's no way it's Lubob. Yeah, no, it's not Lubob. I don't really have an upgrade here. Is anybody better than Sal Perez? No. I really don't have it. I have the best version of everything that I can get here. Garcia at third base? I don't think he's in the projected lineup. Yeah, not in the projected lineup. They don't have a third baseman in the projected lineup right now. So that's what's causing that issue. But we're in and around the 40s. We got about 10 minutes left. Somebody had a suggestion that I wanted to look at. Where did that go? All right, Steven, let me hit that quickly. That's going to be Wheeler, Heel, Salvador Perez, Gavin Sheets, Nicky Lopez, Steven, am I messing that up somewhere? Is Sosa not in the lineup? I don't have Sosa. Steven. No Sosa. I mean, I don't have any Sosa. There is no Sosa in a projected lineup. Where did it go? All right. Eric wanted to do Pirates mini stack. So I'm going to look at that one. So if we go to Pittsburgh, that's going to be game number 10 for me. So let's get O'Neal Cruz, Brian Reynolds, Rowdy Tellez. I'm going to go 4 if I can. I guess Joey Bart. So that's a 4-man Pittsburgh. Now, there's no ownership here, so we probably want to go to a team that's getting some love, whether that's Arizona or Colorado. Let's see if we can get the Arizona side. So Marte, Suarez, Perdomo. If I go Carroll, I think we're dead for pitching. Because then if I go Canning, I don't have enough money. So I can't go Corbin Carroll. So in lieu of Corbin Carroll, we'll go Pavin Smith, Griffin Canning, and Jordan Wicks. 94. Yeah, this is going to die. Might be too much Pittsburgh, but this is not going to be very good. That's a very low projection and not nearly enough of an ownership cut. Yeah, 32. Honestly, that's higher than I was expecting. I think I need to pull one of these Pittsburgh guys. Honestly, it's probably Tellez. Who's the best first baseman I can get to? Nate Lowe. Nate Lowe will be an upgrade on this lineup. I just don't know if going to a 4-3-1 is going to be helpful. Moneyman, it might. You got to tweet that result to us. If you go to stokastic.com/ shit, I don't remember. If you go to stokastic.com and go to the social tab and click Rock the Avatar here at the top, this will explain everything that you need to do. So yeah, we got to 15 mostly because of that stack. One last one, given you don't like McGill. All right, Jorge, hit me. Let me hit Pod DJ and Stoners first. Let's grab Lance Lynn. Wait. Oh, that's FanDuel. My bad. That's not going to work out for me. I'm going to try one more. Who would be a team that would be weird to get to today? A team that you know what? I thought I was going to get the Phillies today. I want this to be the last team that I get to. So I want to look at the Phillies and then we're going to get out of here because I think the Phillies are underrepresented and you're getting a little tiny bit of ownership on the opposite side to Frankie Montas. So let's get Schwarber. Let's get Turner. Let's get Harper. This is going to be an expensive ass lineup, man. I'm going to get Bryson Stott. And I'm going to get Castellanos. Then we have to, because of the cost of this, go to Griffin Canning. And in this case, I'm going to go to McGill to save some money. Catcher, third, outfielder. Not a lot of money to go around. So best value catcher we can get to that isn't utter garbage might actually be Gabriel Moreno. Third, we're never going to be able to get to Suarez. So I'm going to try to dodge Moreno. Which is not going to be easy. Does that get me to Logan O'Hoppe? Eric Wagaman. No, that does not work for us at all. Wow, catcher is tough. Well, maybe finding third first will be easier. Arenado? Who's the St. Louis catcher? We don't have a lot of time left. Pages and Jordan Walker. 91 projection, 73% ownership. This lineup is going to be shit. It's really hard to get to Philly. They are so expensive. Yeah, 10%. Not surprised. You really need that ownership. You really need that like high projection here, and that's really hard to unlock. Can you do Jordan Beck? You can't do Ryan McMahon's. Aaron Schunk and Hunter Goodman. I mean, you get the ownership up, but holy shit, that's bad. Very difficult slate. Very, very, very difficult slate today. We did not naturally build anything crazy. Yeah. We would need more time, but unfortunately, we are out of time. The NFL Strategy Show is coming up next at 10 a.m. You don't want to miss it. They're already going to be breaking down week 3 in the NFL. You get Laffy and you get Ben. Plus, you get Greg and Eric later tonight for MLB Live Before Lock. Pop into our Discord if you're subscribed at Stochastic. I'm going to hang out tonight and play this baseball slate because I think it's kind of tricky. Hope you guys had some fun. I know I did. You guys know where we'll be, though, tomorrow. Right back here. Same bat time. Actually, let's look at the schedule for tomorrow and for the rest of the week so we know. So tomorrow, we have 3-game early, useless. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 games before 6:50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6-game main slate tomorrow, probably, assuming they don't include the 6s. That works for me. Thursday is probably going to be a live before lock. We're going to have a 4-game early window. Hopefully they drop those 4 o'clock games and we get these 4. Maybe it ends up being 6. Plus we'll still have another 5-gamer for the night. And then Friday we go big. So that's where we're at for today and for the rest of the week. Thank you guys for being here. Good luck tonight. I shall talk to you later.